Hey, 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 hey. What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark. Please remember to slash that like button and annihilate that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell. And also, leave me comments down below. But I think I've talked enough, so let's just jump straight into these videos. Let's go!
They call me Megatron. Shorty's a megacon. It ain't
Okay. I can tell this song is about to be deep already.
Why does everybody hate on someone?
Ooh, I like that.
It'll make you feel love for no one. Hurting people is so wrong to say to them. Do what you gotta do, but what if it were you?
1986, crack was new. He tried it with his cousin on an afternoon. It changed his life, the feeling was powerful. 120 rocket only took an hour or two. Turned to a customer, the pain and torment. The drug called his name every waking moment. Left it all behind to chase the smoke. His wife and daughter had no way to cope.
Come on!
Tried to intervene, so did his cousin. Friends and colleagues, but so far nothing. The neighbors spoke fun, the kids were so harsh. Your daddy is a crackhead, leaving emotional scars.
Oh, come on! Wow, 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 wow. I love this. I love this. I love this. And the reason why I say I love this is because it reminds me so much of anybody who's been following this channel for a while. I do my own personal series, Mark Under the Microscope, which is basically giving my subscribers an inside look as to who I am as a person through the lens of the things that I've been through and had to go through in my life. And the reason why I like this so far is because basically the title of this track is called What If It Were You, and it basically reminds me of my poem that I shared, that I had wrote when I was sitting there putting myself within the shoes of my mom, because my mom battled with drug addiction and prostitution. So it was me telling her story from her eyes, and the anger and the hurt and the pain and the suffering that she had to succumb to, with the outside world viewing her as an outsider, as a demon, and she wanted to be clean, she wanted to help herself, but she couldn't help herself. So it was basically me sitting there giving a different side of the story. And I love how how SPM is kind of in that way giving another side of the spectrum and another side of the story, of sitting there pointing a finger, saying like, yeah, you can sit there and say something, but before you sit there and cast judgment, please make sure, like, what if it were you, to sit there and look at your own skeletons, look at your own distorted reflection that you see in the mirror before you cast judgment on someone else. I definitely like that so far. I'm gonna take it back. This is dope.
Called his name every waking moment. Left it all behind to chase the smoke. His wife and daughter had no way to cope. His brother tried to intervene, so did his cousin. Friends and colleagues, but so far nothing. The neighbors spoke fun, the kids were so harsh. Your daddy is a crackhead, leaving emotional scars. But 99% of all who try it will go on a motherfucking monster diet. Feel to buy it, but still deny it, and dream for the day they could slay Goliath.
Why does everybody hate on someone? It'll make you feel love for no one.
Oh, come on.
So wrong to say to one. Do what you gotta do, but what if it were you? Why does everybody hate on someone? It'll make you feel love for no one. Hurting people is so wrong to say to one. Do what you gotta do, but what if it were you?
It's a dim, she hoping they tip big. All this she wearing G-string and lipstick. Just trying to pay the bills, save whatever's left. Staring in the eyes of men she's never met.
Wow.
Beyond the average dancer, every dude inside goes wish they could have her. This brings jealousy amongst the other chicks. They keyed her new truck just for the fuck of it. 4 classes at the junior college. A few students know what she looks like topless. Word gets around and they laugh and smirk. Mostly bitches that never had to work. Her son is in daycare, his daddy don't care. But a long face is something she won't wear. Relatives whisper during family gatherings. Her dad was a fool and she takes after him.
Why does everybody hate on someone?
And I love this because, wow, like, he's really touching an emotional chord with me. Like, I can definitely feel the pain and, like, the anguish within this song and the hurt, and to be able to sit there and say, why does everybody basically hate on someone? Why are we living in a society where we have to sit there and cast disparagement, where we have to cast judgment, where we have to make somebody feel as if they are less than because of the situations or the type of lifestyle or just the types of things that they have to be exposed to? And I love this because he's actually touching an emotional chord with me. Like, a lot of the songs I've listened to where with SPM, like, I love the songs, but this one is like really hitting home because it's like it's almost giving me a reflection of who I am as a person, and it's coming full circle of what I always kept sitting there saying so much about SPM, is how he's able to sit there and connect to so many different people. And like, you don't have to sit there and be in the dope game or the drug game, or you don't have to be an assassin or whatever, just the likes of it, or living this street life. But I feel like he's just speaking to the lives of everybody who has to sit there and had to come up in poverty or have to sit there and struggle. And this is touching me because it's like he's basically telling the story of me as a child and the things that I had to sit there and go through. Like, this is one of the like, I have so much respect for an artist when they can sit there and do something like that, where they can sit there and be true to themselves, be authentically themselves, and also sit there and show a vulnerable, soft, and emotional side and an expressive side, to sit there and connect with the lyrics and connect with not only their fans but the general public, because they sit there and draw you in. Like, if I was like not a fan and this was like my first time just hearing of SPM, like when I did my first reaction to SPM, which I believe, I don't know if it was Riddler on the Roof, or it might have been the it might have been another song. I can't remember if it was Riddler on the Roof that I did first, or it was another song before that. No, or was it Wiggy Wiggy? I can't remember, but it was one of those songs. But it's just that if I was like a person that was within general public, and to sit there and come across this, and I was like, okay, well, let me check this guy out, let me see who this is, this song would draw me in. And this is a song that would be like, okay, I'm a fan of his, I want to hear more of his work, because he's sitting there connecting. Like, this is something that you expect, that you want an artist to do, to sit there and explain a story, to be expressive, to be expansive, to sit there and be able to touch emotional chords, whether you're a rapper, a singer, a country singer, a rock band. Like, you want like a heavy metal band, a blues band, a jazz musician. Like, you, like, as an artist, you strive to sit there and touch chords and touch people. Your artistry should leave a mark, and I believe that's what he's doing with this track. It's amazing.
A few students know what she looks like topless. Word gets around and they laugh and smirk. Mostly bitches that never had to work. Her son is in daycare, his daddy don't care. But a long face is something she won't wear. Relatives whisper during family gatherings. Her dad was a fool and she takes after him.
Why does everybody hate on someone? It'll make you feel love for no one. Hurting people is so wrong, I say to them, do what you gotta do, but what if it were you? Why does everybody hate on someone? It'll make you feel love for no one. Hurting people is so wrong, I say to them, do what you gotta do, but what if it
He
were
did
you?
17 years in a violent prison. Come back home, but his life is missing.
Come on.
His mom passed away and his wife got married. First time in a long time, it's scary. What's the internet? What's the Facebook page?
Come on!
This is a toilet in an 8-foot cage. Clean sheets every Tuesday. Prison's predictable, but free world life is much more difficult. No one will hire him. He's covered in tats.
Come on!
Teardrops for the ones that have passed. The baby he had is 21 years old. He heard she was stripping at a club called Vogue.
Hey, come on! He brought that back. Come on!
I don't know, sir. Is she a dancer? Does she have a dancer named Hey Sir? Hey Sir? Sir.
I was not expecting that.
I'm looking for my daughter, man. Better off you leave. Cynthia! You gonna get your hands off me, motherfucker!
Oh my god, no!
You gotta go.
He didn't have a penny in his pocket to help. But what about the gun mama locked in the shelf? It was still there with the bullets intact. Now the prison guard laughs. I knew you'd be back.
Oh,
Does everybody hate him?
come on. This is so deep.
Feel love for no one. Hurting people is so wrong. I say to them, do what you gotta do, but what if it were you? Why does everybody hate on someone? It'll make you feel love for no one. Hurting people is so wrong. I say to them, do what you gotta do, but what if it were you? Why does everybody hate?
It's so easy to hate. Any fucking how can hate somebody.
Right, tell him.
But the realest, bravest people on earth are those that have love. Those that try to help somebody else.
Right.
They don't make you feel love for no one. Hurting people is so wrong. I say to them, do what you gotta do, but what if it were you?
Wow, I love this. This is my new favorite song. This is my new favorite song by SPM. Hands down, this is my new favorite song by SPM. So let's quickly talk about SPM, What If It Were You. And like I was sitting there saying, what I want to sit here and talk about is how, I love how in that course when he was sitting there saying that everybody always wants to hate on someone, and there's always somebody that's always trying to sit there and bring somebody else down in order to bring themselves up. And it's like, and like I said, the reason why I connect so much to this is because I can relate to this song so much and on so many levels because, and I'm about to be very transparent with you guys who are watching this, when I first sat there and when my mom, after she abandoned me, my mom had she was pregnant with me at 15, had me at 16, then abandoned me when I was like around like 2 or 3 months old in the winter time, and just left me like for dead basically as a baby by an open window in an apartment building. And they heard like the baby crying, and then they reached out to my great grandmother, and that's how I wound up going into my great grandmother's care, and then transitioning into basically going into foster care after my great grandmother had passed away when I was 11 years old. But what I wanted to sit there and talk about is basically how this relates so much to me on so many levels, because so many people knew about the struggles and the pains that I had to go through, especially when I was a child and when I was a kid, that I used to often get taunted for it, that I often used to get made fun of. And I'm about to get real transparent with you guys. The first time that I tried to commit suicide was when I was 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, I locked myself in my bedroom inside my house, and I took some matches and I struck a match and lit my room on fire, because I wanted to not only burn the hate that I had for myself, but I wanted to burn the hate that I had for my mom, and I wanted to burn myself alive, because it was one day I was at school and I was getting taunted because a lot of people knew that my mom was on drugs, that she did alcohol, that my mom was a prostitute, because they seen her soliciting one time on the street. And so they brought this back at school, and they made fun of me like so badly, and it was to the point where I wanted to not want to go back to school, and I ultimately just wanted to end it. But then it was something that came in my head that was like, no, Mark, there's something greater, there's something bigger, there's so much more out there for you to sit there and not sit there and stop it so abruptly. So before my room like caught on fire too much, I wind up being able to get water and basically throwing it on the flames that I had, that basically when I was sitting there burning like my room while I was in there. And it's just like, it's so crazy, because it's so crazy how we live in a society where people feel like they have to sit there in order to sit there, instead of like, it takes so much out of you to sit there and hate somebody, and to sit there and cast disparagement and to judge somebody, when it's so much easier to love and uplift people, regardless of your nationality, regardless of your religion, regardless of your sexuality, regardless of anything. And it's like sometimes you have to sit there and look at yourself and be like, okay, what if it was me that was in that situation? How would that make me feel in that regard? Because it's like they sit there and say hurt people, and it's like that's what I had to sit there and learn from, even from that first time when I tried to attempt suicide when I was 8 years old. I had to come to the realization that hurt people. My mom was hurt. The people that was inside my elementary school, they were hurt. Then there was adults that used to sit there and cast disparagement, cast judgment on me, and it's like people would think, well, why would adults do that? And it's like people can say some pretty fucked up things, regardless of you being an adult, whether you being a child, whether you being a teenager, whatever. You can be an alien. People can still sit there and do some fucked up things within this universe. And it's like, you sit there and you think about it, it's like people want to sit there and just tear you down so much in order to sit there and feel like they could get an ounce, like a little ounce of being able to get ahead, or to make themselves an ounce of being able to feel better, instead of sitting there saying, oh, you know what, my dude, like we live like in such a toxic masculinity society. And instead of a guy sitting there saying, oh, you know, hey, what's up, dude? Oh, I like that jack is tight. Or like, oh, I like those sneakers. They're like, oh, I'm not gonna sit there and give another guy a compliment, no homo, blah blah blah. I'm a grown man. I know what my sexuality is. I don't need to sit there and think that I need to sit there and say no homo after things like, I hate stuff like that, because it's like you never know what somebody is going through, or what is affecting someone, whether it's man, woman, boy, girl, elder. You don't know what that person is going through in that type of moment or in that given time. So your words can sit there and affect someone's day and make them feel so much better about themselves. Whereas if you were to sit there and just give one person a compliment, you could have stopped that person from offing their top just like that, and stopping them from doing something crazy. You never know who you come into contact with, and that's what I try to do, and how I try to live my life. And it's so crazy when I sit there and look at a song like this, and how SPM was able to sit there and draw like this connection, and being able to sit there and show like you never know the story that behind somebody's, but like I said in my thing, like in one of my poems, behind every line and every print on your hands, your palms tell a story, basically, and that goes for everybody. It's like you never know everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has a piece of good news, a piece of bad news to sit there and share. It's just in order how do you take it, and how you internalize it, and how you give it back to the world, and how they receive it. And it's just like, I think SPM is such a phenomenal artist for being able to come out with a song like this. Like I said, if I was just listening to this song and just being just a person, a casual listener, and I came across this song just on GP of me being a general public observation, like I sat there and put it, like, say I typed in South in like the search bar, and then SPM popped up, and then that popped up, and I said, okay, well, let me see what this video is about. This would draw me in. This is the type of track that's crosses all boundaries. This is something that sits there and crosses all borders, to sit there and allow someone to sit there and become a fan of yours, and to sit there and become a fan and become a stand-up, like, yes, I'm aligning myself with that dude. That dude may have a history of doing some things that I don't agree with, or saying, but this is me speaking hypothetically, because like I said, I don't know SPM's personal story. I could just only go by what I've heard of his music and what I see in the news. And like I always sit there and say, I separate the artist from what is being said about that person, because I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened with this person. There's always there's always three sides. There's this side, there's that side, and then there's the other side, the middle side. So it's like, the only thing I can sit there and say is, basically, he's the type of person that makes me like, okay, I want to sit there and learn more about him. I want to see where he's coming from, and I see that he's for the people, and trying to elevate the people, and trying to progress the people, regardless of the lifestyle that he lived, or being in the dope game, and being at the top of the dope game in Houston, and just other that. Because like a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm cast him off, like, oh, I'm not listening to that because he's talking about this and this and this. He could be talking about sex, money, murder, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, I'm not listening to that. But it's like, these are the types of songs where you got to sit there and be like, well, he does have other songs that you need to listen to, and he's telling a story. Like, he's telling the story of so many people who grow up in the inner city, and what we have to live in and where we are disenfranchised. This was amazing. I loved everything about this. I loved the video. I loved the cinematography. I loved everything. It was so unexpected, and I'm not rating this. The way he wrote that beat and the way he was able to tell that story was absolutely phenomenal and absolutely amazing, and I'm definitely here for this. So let me know what you thought of SPM. What if it were you in the comments below? And with that being said, please remember to be safe out there. Remember to stay awesome, be awesome, because you guys are all awesome. This is your boy Mark, and I'm signing off. Deuces. Peace.
They call me Megatron. Shorty's a mega con. It ain't about the race either. It's the marathon.